Hello and welcome to a new yoga class. So today we're going to have a look at gate pose, which is a nice side bending pose. We're going to do a little warm up first to get the spine mobile and the side body muscles warmed up, and then we're going to move into the gate pose itself and through a couple of different variations on the gate pose which will work different areas of the body. So as I said, it is a side stretch. The aim is to open up the sides of the body, but some of the different variations will also work the legs, the hips, the shoulders. So it's quite a nice pose. It's also quite gentle, so you just work into it as far as you can and stay where is comfortable for you. So to start with, we're just going to warm up the spine. We're just going to start with breathing, so inhaling the arms up, allowing the palms to touch at the top, then turning the arms round the other way and exhaling the palms back down. And repeat again. Your inhale wants to finish just as your hands touch, and your exhale finishes just as your hands come down to the side of the body. Inhaling up, exhale down. And you really want to stretch through those fingers, and you want to feel as you inhale, you want to feel the body lifting up as the lungs expand. And one more. And then starting to increase the spinal mobility, inhaling the right arm up. Exhale, coming over to the side, placing the left hand on the floor so you can really stretch through that side. Holding here. Hold for a minimum of 3 breaths, but anywhere up to 5 or 6 breaths. Inhaling up, exhale the arm down, and then the other side, inhaling the arm up, exhaling, coming over, nice side stretch. So you want to keep stretched through the inside side of the body as well, so you don't want to be collapsing into it. You really want to keep the spine elongated, reaching this shoulder, armpit up as well, not allowing it to sink towards the floor. So this is a real side opener. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Inhaling the arms to shoulder height. Exhale, twisting. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist to the other side. Inhale, center. 2 more on each side. So you're wanting to keep the hips forward and just twisting the upper body. And then exhale the arms down. So you can repeat that sequence a few times to really warm up the body if you need to. And you can start moving with the side stretches with the breathing. So inhaling the arm up, exhaling over, inhaling, swapping the arms around, and exhaling to the opposite side. And you can move through those until your body feels nice and warm. So we're also just going to warm up the wrists a little bit because we are putting a lot of pressure through these wrists. So coming up onto the knees, and I want you to come into hands and knees pose, but rather than the fingers facing forward as is normal, we're going to turn the fingers round to face the thighs, but you still want your wrists underneath your shoulders to start with. And then as you exhale, just moving the hips back so that you get a stretch through the back of those wrists. And just move the hips back until you feel the stretch. Don't push too far. You don't want to be in pain for this one. It should just feel slightly uncomfortable because these muscles aren't used very often. And just breathing into that pause, just increasing the flexibility in your wrists. One more breath here. And then turn the hands back round to central. Now we're going to take the right hand and we're going to turn it so that the back of the hand is flat on the floor and straighten the arm. And then just gently put pressure through the top of that hand, so taking some of the weight onto it from the left hand. Now depending on how flexible the back of the wrist is here, will depend on how much weight you can actually take on the back of the hand. So just gently move the weight over until you feel like you've hit your limit. So you do want to work the muscles, but you don't want to push it too far. You don't want to risk straining the wrist especially. Inhale, turning the hand back the right way around. And then the same with the opposite side. So again, taking the hand flat first, making sure the arm's nice and straight, and then starting to transfer some of the weight into the back of that hand. So you're really pushing that hand into the floor, but you want to keep the arm nice and straight. So you're really working the muscles in that wrist. And then bringing that wrist back round, sitting back on the heels, and just do a couple of rotations just to release the wrists slightly. So now coming into gate pose itself, you want to come up high on your knees. We're going to start on the right hand side. So take the right leg out. You want to have the foot lined up with the short edge of the mat. And you want to make sure that it's flat on the floor. Both sides of the foot are pressing into the floor, so you're really pressing in on that little toe edge of the foot. You don't want that to be coming up. You actually want the sole of the foot to be pressed into the floor. So if you can't get it down to the floor, you can put a blanket underneath that or a cushion, or you can just bring your leg in a little more so that you can put that weight into that foot. But just take your leg as wide as is comfortable for you. Your hips want to stay central, and the standing thigh wants to stay perpendicular to the floor. So inhaling the left hand up, and we're going to exhale and just come over that leg. So this is a nice side opener here. You want to keep lifting through the spine, so whenever you inhale, think about lifting that spine up so that this side doesn't collapse. Exhale and coming deeper into the pose. You want to make sure that your shoulders are staying above the hips. You're not coming forwards, you're not leaning backwards. You really want this to be about this side. Really stretching through that whole area of the body. Right the way up through the fingertips, so reaching right over to the far wall. And don't put too much weight on this arm onto this leg, because it'll push the knee against the socket, which could damage the knee. So you just want to gently rest that hand on the leg. And just one more breath here. Nice big inhale. And exhale. On the inhale, we're going to come forward, bringing the hands down onto the floor in front of us. Just take one breath here. Taking a moment just to make sure that your back is nice and straight, as though you're in that tabletop position. Then taking the weight into the left hand arm, you're going to inhale the right arm up. A little bit of a twist here. So a bit of rotation. You might find that this now you feel in that inner hip, or you might find that you're feeling it in this outer hip now. On the next exhale, bring that arm down and through underneath the arm that's on the floor, then bend that supporting arm so that you can bring your shoulder down to the floor, and as close to the floor as is possible for you. This you'll probably feel on the inside of that hip, and this also stretches the back of the shoulder. If you are comfortable here, you can then take that arm up just to open the shoulders out a little more, or you can just have it reaching sideways just so that your shoulders are nice and open. Exhale, bringing that hand down if it's reaching up to the air, pressing into that hand so that you can inhale back into that tabletop style position. Then taking the weight into the right hand, and we're going to inhale and twist the opposite way. So you won't twist as far this way, and we're only going to hold this one for a couple of breaths, but you'll feel the twist in this side. Exhaling, coming down. Then we're going to take the left hand out to the side of the body, making sure you're lifting through that thigh still, and bring the right arm overhead this time, really stretching into a side plank variation of this pose. So we're stretching through the opposite side of the body. If you feel comfortable here, see if you can lift that leg up. If you have the foot flexed, that'll work the leg a little more, or you can have the foot pointed, whichever is more comfortable for you in this one. And then we're going to start doing some crunches, so on the exhale, bring the elbow and the knee in together. Inhale and stretch. So really working those obliques. And then hold out here again for another 2 breaths. Exhale the leg down. Inhale, coming back up. And then exhaling back into that gate pose. Just stretch out that side of the body again and just see if you can come further into it this time. Inhaling up, coming back to kneeling. So you can repeat that whole routine 2 or 3 times on that side if you want to, or if that's enough for you and you do feel like you've worked that whole side of the body, move on to the other side. So it's whatever you feel like doing on the day. Different days you might feel like you haven't worked quite so much, so you'll do another round, and on some days you'll feel like you need to keep it short, sweet, sharp. Maybe you're twisting into it a bit further because your body feels more open, but actually that works your body a bit more, so you can only do 1 round of it instead of 2. So it totally depends on how your body feels on the day that you're doing your practice. So coming to the opposite side again. Take the leg as wide as is comfortable for you so that you can still get the foot nice and flat on the floor. You want to try and have the leg nice and straight as well. So really just taking a moment just to make sure that your base position is correct. Your body is stacked in one straight line, hips, shoulders, knee, all in a nice straight line, and your body's not leaning off to one side or leaning over to the other side. Inhaling the right arm up, and exhale, coming over into that stretch. And again, making sure that this inside edge is also pulled up and you're not flopping into it. You're really keeping that spine nice and straight so that you're not compressing the muscles on this side of the body. So imagining the spine elongating with every inhale and gravity pulling your hand towards your foot on every exhale. Coming round to the tabletop style position now. So again, just making sure that your base is nice and firm, your hands are underneath your shoulders, your leg is still nicely stacked, your knee is under your hip, and you're all in line there. And then inhale the left hand up to the ceiling. Coming into that nice open twist. So this twist should be coming from the abdomen, so you want to twist from the abdomen, then the chest, then open the shoulders. And if you're feeling pinching in your neck here, keep looking to the side or even down to the floor. You've got to notice your body. If you're feeling something that is hurting, move the body so that it doesn't hurt anymore. It can be uncomfortable, it shouldn't hurt. It shouldn't be painful at all. So exhaling, bringing that arm down and threading it through the arm on the floor. And so that you can open the shoulder. And again, if you are comfortable here and you want to, you can open this top arm up. Or you can keep it on the floor. Whatever's more comfortable for you. You might find that you actually want to have it further out here so that you can push the shoulder up, but it's not quite so strong on the arm itself. Exhaling, bringing that arm back under the shoulder and pushing back up to that tabletop style position. And then again, we're going to twist in the opposite direction just for a couple of breaths. We're not holding this one for long, so inhaling that arm up. And then bringing it down next to that leg so that you can come into a nice side plank position. So just checking that your base is still nice and firm. And then coming into the side plank. So really reaching to stretch that whole side body. So we're really stretching from the fingertips right down the side, right the way to the foot. And you can have the hand that's on the floor turned whichever way is more comfortable. Maybe you want your fingers pointing outwards. Maybe you want them pointing the same way as the knee, so you get a bit of an extra stretch through the wrist. The only thing you've got to make sure is that the elbow always points the same way as that web between the thumb and the finger. And then lifting that leg up. Really adding strength into this pose. And introducing the crunches on the next exhale. So doing 5 crunches, inhaling out, exhaling and crunch. And then holding that just for a couple of breaths again. Exhale the foot back down. Inhaling, coming up. Take a second to correct your posture. Inhale the arm up. And exhaling back into that full gate pose, and just see if you come further this time. Maybe you can fold further into it.
Inhale it up.
Exhaling the arm down. Coming back to kneeling, sitting on the heels, and then coming down into the final relaxation of child's pose.
Bring the forehead to the ground and the hands by the feet. And breathe in deeply. Feel the abdomen pressed against the thighs and the chest rising against the knees. And just start to slowly breathing down. And take notice of your body. Other sides evenly worked. Do they now feel energized? And just notice what areas feel different to when we started, if any. And you can stay in this pose for as long as you have time for, before you decide to come out of it and move on with your day.
Thank you for watching. Namaste.